Alright, we're live again. Let me put no guest requests. Hold on. Because I'm not gonna have anyone on the panel. I'm trying to. It's been so long. Like, I'm gonna do it multiple parts, but like I said, it's gonna be a reaction video. How do you remove the guests? And then the layouts. Alright, that's better. I said I was gonna do this. It's only gonna be like, because I gotta go, so I'm only gonna do like 20 minutes, and I'll go back. I'll just save it. So we're only gonna do this part. So let's get to the. I'm not gonna see the whole video. I'm just gonna get to the abortion part. And I saw the beginning part of it, so I don't know how long this section is.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys, Nina just built an app.
Admit that it's disgusting to think that you could choose to be attracted to your mother.
We gotta stop there. That you've been voted out by.
What about their safety?
I would.
2, 1. Jury. Not only that, as a celebrity walking into.
I don't care about that.
All humans are equal, and I don't think you do either.
Oh,
Made by a victim of predicated off of the trauma that they went through. Quite frankly, Lori, it's before viability.
That by closing the borders, like
Food stamps, they're not. It is literally illegal. It's not a contestable. It's an influence of.
simply are not cases where women.
It's implanted schools at the moment of conception, but smallest.
Let me just tell you, I was one of those little girls. Okay?
I'm sorry to hear that, Lori.
I was one of those little girls, but the guy was Hugh Hefner. So for you to sit there and say it's disgusting, I'm sorry. I don't agree with the woman as a woman who was abused. I don't agree with the attacks falsely on Donald Trump because of the crap that your side always has to push because you got such bad TDS. It's insane. That woman is a nut job. I knew somebody that worked with her at Simon Schuster said that she was so inappropriate. She also accused 21 other men of the same freaking crime.
Name 5 of them.
I don't know their names.
Because they don't exist.
We're out of time. We have to pause there. Great job, everybody.
We are currently casting 3 new episodes of Surrounded. If you're a passionate debater who fits into any of the categories currently on your screen, we'd love to hear from you. You can apply through our website, jubileemedia.com/casting, or click on the link in the description. Feel free to spread the word to friends, family, or relatives who would be eager to join the circle. If you don't see anything that you're right for, fill out our open casting application, and our casting team will reach out if you're a fit for future videos.
My next surrounded claim is abortion should be legal.
If you want to debate this claim, please get to the center in 3.
So this is 4326. How long is this section? 57. Okay.
He's gonna die. Education, jobs reports, in
argument at anyone who don't want to have.
Because
I want to add
part of our Bill of Rights.
Okay.
Said that she was so.
Like I said, I'm not gonna watch the whole video. Oh, I'm doing a reaction. Oh wait, how are you not a mod in here? That's weird. Well, I'm doing a reaction to a Jubilee video. It's gonna be part 1, obviously.
Inappropriate. She also accused
Skip.
21 other men of the same
All right, we'll just
freaking
skip.
crime.
2, 1.
Here's the prompt.
Hello again.
Welcome back. Mike's yours. I'll let you take it away.
Okay, well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you believe in equality?
Well, I mean, I think that's a very vague question, but generally, of course.
Okay, so if you do, then all humans are equal, correct?
Wait,
No, I don't think that all humans.
wait,
are
can
equal.
you actually hear? Can you actually hear? Yes. I just wanted to get to the abortion part. This is part 1. I'm going to do a second video because I got to leave soon, but this is part 1. So I wanted to make a reaction to this.
I don't think you do either.
Oh, I absolutely think that all humans have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Really?
It's part of our Bill of Rights.
Okay.
And if you actually...
All right. Here's her mistake here, right? Obviously, I'm not MAGA, but like this is what you don't want to argue. You don't want to argue rights come from the Constitution. That's already a problem there. You can see from a lot of these debates. You don't want to argue that. Because the Bill of Rights, they're basically made up. You don't want to argue that. So, but let's continue watching. To be honest, I wish they had better representatives of pro-life. I've seen this section before already. I didn't watch the whole video, but I've seen this section already. So we'll get back here.
love our Constitution and our Bill of Rights,
Yeah.
then you would believe what I believe.
Well, I mean, it says people, but small distinction there. I want to ask you a question. Is it murder for a doctor to pull the plug on a brain dead patient in the hospital?
Some people actually write what they want done. You know, they say, hey, if I become brain dead, then pull the plug.
Yeah, but for instance, if they don't do that, okay, like, for instance, I haven't done that. If when I leave the set today, I get into a nasty car accident, I get T-boned by a drunk driver, I go brain dead, okay, would it be murder for, like, my family to tell a doctor at the hospital, well, because he's brain dead, let's just go ahead and pull the plug? Would that be murder?
I honestly, you're talking to someone that is very skeptical of doctors, okay? And even they talk about brain dead people that weren't actually brain dead.
True.
So that's
All right, that's a different thing. There have been recorded cases of people being misdiagnosed as brain dead when this actually happened, I believe, a year ago, pretty recently, where someone was about to get their organs harvested and they were actually still alive. But this is the problem that a lot of people make, a lot of pro-choicers make. He's trying to equivocate. Well, he's trying to equivocate that brain death is the same thing as being an unborn child. No, being brain dead, you're dead. Like, it's not analogous to inside the womb. Just because people unplug someone who's brain dead, which they're dead, does not mean that abortion would be justified. The reason the machines just temporarily stop the body from decaying, like I said, they do this so they can harvest organs, right? Brain death is not equal to being an unborn child, so just because we do that does not follow that abortion be justified. This is one of the biggest contentions that he makes in the video.
I always leave up to everything to God. So when I die is when I die.
I want to clarify
So
that.
I actually don't want to be killed. But now, if you're on all these machines to keep you alive, if it's months and months and you're not getting better, then you're using machines to keep you alive.
But they're still alive, and you still don't think it's murder to kill them.
I would disagree if they're using machines. Even if they're using machines, I still find it wrong to kill somebody. Like, even if you're using, like, let's say an iron lung, I would find it wrong to get decapitated, obviously. As Jack is saying in the comments, like, if you're brain dead, you don't get better because you're dead. You can't... brain death is the irreversible cessation of brain function. So there is no getting better. All right, let's unpause here.
So you actually don't...
This section, this debate, this claim is 18 minutes long. So I think I could do most of it and probably make a part 2.
That all humans have this intrinsic right to life. And by the way,
I never said no. You don't speak for me. Again, I just told you I don't believe in doctors.
Okay.
So I don't go to the hospital.
I have a very...
that's
insane.
I have not gone to the hospital in a long time.
Okay, well, I hope that you
because
I want to add on a
believe
point of
when it's
clarification
my
here.
time, it's my time. Now, question for you.
All right.
So when do you think life begins?
I'll give Dean credit, even though he's like in complete opposition to my view. I'll give him credit that he has a lot of patience. While I'm not MAGA, I do align more with them, obviously, because they're pro-life, but they're not necessarily the best representatives of the position. They're not the worst people I've ever seen on Jubilee, but they're not the best representatives. Yeah, I guess the vape probably does help, because Usually, Dean is very unlike this compared to his lives. He obviously can't mute people in Jubilee, but he's very, like, he has a lot of patience, so I'll give him that.
I think that life begins at the moment of conception.
Good. I'm glad you believe that.
You're a Christian and you base your morality.
That's not a belief, that's more of a scientific fact, but beyond that.
That's
off
called
of
science.
Christianity.
And see, it seems like
Can I
the
ask
people
you
that
a
say
question?
we're anti-science, they're anti-science.
I also don't kind of like her debate style. I know they're going to switch, because I got to, like, the first two people, I think. She is monologuing too long and not really addressing his point, so we'll get to that.
Because they don't believe man and woman. They believe genders.
I want to ask you a question about abortion.
Okay.
You made the claim that all humans are equal. Every single human has the identical right to life. That is a claim that fundamentally everybody
it depends.
rejects
Actually,
in one way or another.
I didn't say that. So, see, you're putting more into the sentence that I did not add.
Your opener
okay, I
was
said
about equality
for life,
for everyone.
liberty and a pursuit of happiness.
Which
Now,
would be
if you're a
the right to
murderer,
life.
I do believe in capital punishment, but because of your actions.
Okay.
So
That's
that's
fine.
where I don't believe in
Okay, I do agree with her point there. Okay, she makes a good point there. I do agree with that.
equality. Is like,
Can we
is a
push
baby
the
and a
abortion
murderer
bill?
the same? No, because a baby's innocent. A civil society protects the most innocent and vulnerable.
I know a lot of people would disagree that they're innocent in the womb because, they're not capable of moral decisions. I would disagree, depending on how you define innocence. I agree. This is the part where I agree. She's actually has a good point here.
They don't go and murder them. That is a satanic society, and I
No.
reject a satanic society.
Okay, we gotta stop there. You've been voted out.
Okay.
If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2.
We're not gonna watch the whole debates. Yeah, I wouldn't use that definition. I have my own definition of innocence. I've explained it before. But this section is like 18 minutes long, I think, like 20 minutes long.
Why? Hi, Tish.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Why should abortion be illegal?
Well, let me ask you something. Abortion is legal here. What procedure do you prefer?
I saw this. I don't recommend what she's gonna do here. I saw this already.
Action, the dye in the
Yeah.
what is it?
I don't know. The most brutalistic, gross one where we chop up all their limbs and throw them in the trash. Listen.
Really, that's gross.
Okay.
That is so gross.
I know, I'm rage baiting you. Listen,
I have 4 children,
but-
a set of twins. I would never ever do that to my children.
And
would you have your girlfriend do that to your child?
Well, ultimately, I think it's a
Or do you
choice
have a
of-
girlfriend?
I do.
Oh, you
Ultimately,
do?
I think that it's a choice of the woman. So if
Okay.
you want to tell me that you never get an abortion,
No, I've
all the
never
power
had one.
to you. I love that for you because that's your choice, and I think that's great. But listen, I don't think that abortion is murder because I don't think that there's any trait that we could identify to be true of a fetus in which we fundamentally would value enough to grant the right to life. The last person on the mic said, well, fundamentally, all humans have the same right to life, and that's something that we hear from a lot of pro-lifers. As I was attempting to communicate to her, everybody rejects that view in one way or another. So I want to hear your argument insofar as why it's morally wrong for a woman to get an abortion outside of its gross. Because grotesqueness doesn't arbitrate morality. Like, taking a shit's pretty gross.
I mean, the question to ask is what trait would he value that everybody else values or most people value?
Smells like shit, right?
Okay.
But we're not going to say it's morally
We know his consciousness because I've seen what he believes many times.
wrong to take a shit, even though it's gross. So what's the argument that abortion is wrong?
Let me just ask you this. Everyone's really focused on, it should be the right for every woman. Why don't you think about it the other way and think about why don't you prevent all these women who don't want to have babies? Why aren't you guys helping them prevent pregnancies?
We do. I'd agree we should.
Yes.
All right, this is the problem. I'm going to disagree with her here. Prevent pregnancies, like this could be compatible with pro-life here.
We should.
100%.
You
And
should
we need
be
access to comprehensive sex ed in schools. We need free and fair access to
In schools?
yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
at what age?
Okay, we have that. Like condoms aren't that expensive. We have all those things, and abortion is still very common. So it's clearly not solving the issue. Sure, teen pregnancy is lower, but abortion is not.
is at an age-appropriate level. I would say starting in late middle school, because I was in middle school, you were in middle school, we were all in middle school. The second thing that I think is also important here would be free and fair access to contraceptives, and we should also try to find ways to limit financial instability.
Wait, it is basically kind of free in public schools. Not all public schools, but public schools, they do hand out condoms for free.
And young women and young men, because the leading cause of women accessing abortion is financial instability, but you still haven't
That's true. That is true.
the question, and you've been up here for a while.
Okay.
I want to hear why you think that abortion is wrong. I think that you're struggling to come up with an argument.
Because it is murder.
And the definition of murder would be the unjust termination of a human life. Explain why you think it's unjust.
First of all, a woman who has a pregnancy, a baby in there, they have the right to life too.
What grants the fetus the right to life?
What grants it just that it's been conceived?
Or the fact that it's a human?
It is a human.
Okay, so brain dead patients have the right to life too.
So what, brain dead?
Oh, I already explained this in the last section. If you're brain dead, you're not alive. I explained that in the last section.
Yeah, they're human.
You know what? I've heard of brain dead people, humans coming out of comas.
Then they're not
That's impossible. If they're in a coma, that's a different thing. If you're brain dead, you can't come out of brain death. That's impossible. It's also like logically impossible because the definition of, he's going to explain it. The definition of brain death is an irreversible cessation of brain activity. It is impossible to come back from brain death. If you're in a coma, then you're not brain dead. Because if you came back from brain death, then you wouldn't be brain dead. So he's going to explain the definition, actually.
The definition of brain death is irreversible cessation of all cognitive function. Do humans who are biologically alive because of machines with irreversible cessation of all cognitive function have the right to life?
I haven't really researched that, so if there was no hope, possibly,
Okay.
they should. I mean, that's not my decision to make. That's a family member's opinion.
Okay,
You know,
so
that's
you
not
think
my
it should be up to the choice of the family to kill a
You
human?
know what?
It doesn't have the right to
that
life.
doesn't mean.
So you don't think that
but
all
if they,
humans have
but
the
if
right to
they're
life. So what
brain
is a
dead,
fetus?
but if they're brain dead, are they?
Actually, I want to go back here. I forget. I was not paying attention to what she was saying. 49:27. Okay.
Research that. So, if there was no hope, possibly,
Okay.
they should. I mean, that's not that, and that's not my decision to make. That's a family member's opinion.
Okay,
You know,
okay, so
that's
you
not my
think it should
decision.
You see, this is where he gave her the bait. No, she gave him the bait. He's saying, oh, it's a family's decision. Now, obviously, he's going to say, why isn't it the woman's decision in abortion? That's a blunder I think she made there.
The choice of the family to kill a
You
human.
know what? No,
It doesn't
well,
have the right
that
to life.
doesn't mean-
So you don't think that
But
all
if they-
humans...
Well, again, that assumes that brain death and being an unborn child are the same. They're not. So just because a family can choose in this one case, it doesn't follow that the mother should be able to choose because they're dead. So it doesn't follow in that case.
They're
So
brain
what is a
dead,
fetus?
but if they're brain dead, are they really alive?
Yes, biologically they are.
You know
No. Answer is no.
what? That's a determination that I would have to take with a medical doctor.
Say the same thing about women for abortion. Then.
No, I don't believe that.
What I think she's like saying, well, I don't know much about brain death, so I can't really make that decision. But they're dead, so they're not alive. So there you go. It's not equivalent to being an unborn child.
A woman has that even right. That a woman should be able to get an abortion here in California.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
I don't.
we have to pause there. You've been voted out.
Thanks for your time, Tish.
Okay, if you want to be the next debater, please get to the center chair in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Dean. I'm Anya.
Okay, this was the last person I saw. I remember what she says, most of it what she says. This was the last conversation I saw before I ended. So I'm going to address what she said.
Nice to meet you. So I couldn't hear a lot of what you were kind of saying a while ago, but what were you saying was brain dead people about if they should be unplugged?
Well, I brought up a brain dead patient as a counterexample to the claim that, well, the reason why it's immoral, the reason why it's murder to kill a fetus is because the fetus is a member of the human species.
Yes.
So brain dead patients on a biological level.
And they should not be unplugged. And I think actually any argument that anyone makes for a brain dead patient to be unplugged is actually coming from the doctors who want to harvest organs and to promote the organ donation industry culture. And I think that any kind of
Okay, pause. I do kind of agree. I also might make a reaction video to Trent Horn. Because Trent Horn made a reaction to this video, so I think I might want to do that eventually. I'm not sure, but yeah, I do agree that okay, maybe that could be true, but it's not really kind of relevant in the conversation being held at hand. Like, yeah, this industry, you could argue that, but I think you should be careful.
Motion that even manipulates families into unplugging
Okay, Jack, don't say that. Don't say that.
their brain dead relatives is also immoral.
Yeah, I think we agree. We agree on that.
And so
organ harvesting aside, if a family wants to unplug a brain dead family member because it's the end of the road,
that is immoral.
That would be murder?
Yeah.
I disagree with that. No, if they're brain dead and you want to remove them, it's fine. I disagree with that.
But I think the doctor, it would be murder from the doctor in the same way that
So you truly think it's murder to kill any member of the human species? What about a zygote?
that is also murder.
So if I kill a unicellular organism, I'm a murderer? Do you think that all murderers should go to jail?
Human
Yeah.
zygotes. It's about human.
Case by case scenario, like their moral culpability, but yes. The answer to that question is mostly yes.
Humans.
So do you think that all murderers should go to jail?
All murderers should be put under trial and tried.
But if they're
And if-
truly murderers, like that's an uncontestable fact.
Then yeah, they should be put to death.
They should be put
I
to
agree.
death.
I do believe in the death penalty.
Wow, okay, so here's the thing. Do you know what an IUD is?
Yeah.
And here is his common IUD. This is the last part I saw before I ended the video. Here's his very common IUD, argument, which I hear all the time.
So an IUD, an intrauterine device, in some circumstances,
I already know where you're gonna go with this.
allow for conception to occur.
Yeah.
But then it will then it will prevent the implantation of the now conceived
The
zygote.
purpose of the IUD
Can you
is
please
to
allow me to
prevent
finish?
implantation. If it leads to death,
Yeah.
then it's not then it didn't fulfill its purpose. It went beyond that.
That's a secondary purpose. So the main purpose of an IUD would be to prevent conception, but when that fails, the secondary purpose is to then prevent its implantation. So if a woman knows that sometimes IUDs will allow for conception to occur, then they kill that conceived zygote, and they still yet choose.
All right, I actually didn't read this fact check. Let's read it. Fact check. Modern evidence shows that both copper and hormonal IUDs primarily prevent fertilization by impairing sperm function, blocking sperm from reaching the egg, and altering the reproductive tract, with very high effectiveness before an embryo ever forms. They also induce local changes in the uterine lining that can, in rare cases, make implantation less likely. The major reviews conclude that post-fertilization effects are a minor, last-time mechanism, not main and routine ways IUDs work.
Be sexually active, then inevitably they conceive a zygote and it dies
I
because of the
think
IUD.
that when people
Under
have
your view, they're a
IUDs
murderer.
implanted, it is not for anything beyond just the prevention. It is not done for the murder of any kind of implanted zygotes.
Because it's a secondary purpose. And
Look,
function.
I made a video about this explaining. I just think that IUDs just shouldn't be on the market. It's just that. It's kind of like if something is illegal and you buy something illegal, you should go to jail for that, in my opinion. It just shouldn't be on the market. That's my thing. You shouldn't be allowed to buy it. That's my thing with IUDs, because it's very. I like the Plan B. I've heard sources for both sides where it does and doesn't. IUDs, I know it does have that mechanism. So my opinion, just don't sell them on the market. If you buy something that's illegal on the market, you should go to jail for that. That's my answer. I already made a video about that.
Of the IUD, if a woman knows that, then she's agreeing to the culpability of possibly having her actions yield the death of another person.
Okay. I'm going to add to that. Most women don't know that, and from current technology, from what I'm aware, is you don't know. Like, is it possible to even know you're pregnant at the moment of conception? I doubt it. So, in the future, let's just say a woman found out she was pregnant at conception, and bought an IUD and knew that this IUD was going to have that mechanism and took it specifically for that, then you have the case for that, right? But it's impossible to find out you're pregnant at the moment of conception because it hasn't even attached to the uterus yet, the uterine lining yet, and most women don't know IUDs have that mechanism. So I'm going to have to say if the way it currently is now, it should just be banned from the market.
Okay, and under your view and hopefully mine, that would be murder.
I think it's for both hormonal and copper. Definitely hormonal, I think. So I think it's both. The fact check did say it was both of them.
And that the person that she's killing through her actions by secondary
But
order
that was not
is
the
valuable.
primary purpose of the IUD.
Well, if I buy a gun with the primary purpose of going hunting, but then one day I get really mad and I use it to kill my neighbor, okay, I'm still a murderer.
No,
I
the
buy my
primary
car
purpose of
for
the
the
gun
primary
is
purpose
to
of-
shoot. Your primary
better
purpose
example
is
is a car.
hunting. Your secondary purpose by that
A better example is a car.
argument was to shoot that
if
person.
I buy a car to get from point A to point B, but then one day I get drunk and I use it to like wipe out a family of 5, am I a murderer?
No.
Yes.
Even though that wasn't the primary function of the car?
You're not a murderer because you killed them by drunk driving. Now, I think people who kill people by drunk driving should be in jail for a very, very long time. But it's not murder, as they did not intend to do that. Very serious crime, but it's not murder. They're not a murderer. If they purposely drove that family over the car, then yeah, they're a murderer.
Yes,
Okay,
because
so
you
then even
use
though
that
killing a
car
zygote's
in
not
the
the
same way you
primary
use the
function
gun
of
as
an
a
IUD,
weapon. You use that
when it
car
does
as a
kill a
weapon.
zygote, under your view, it's murder.
But even though the primary purpose of the car is for driving, you used it for something beyond that. Its secondary purpose was not to be driven drunk and kill.
Well, the
5
secondary purpose of an IUD
secondary
is to kill a
purpose-
zygote. But
the-
listen, I think that ultimately the primary or secondary purpose argument is irrelevant because what we should be evaluating
agree.
is, did a valuable life die, and is a person culpable for the termination of that valuable life? And if a
1, yes. 2, no.
valuable life died and a person is culpable for the
No,
termination of that
because
valuable
it was
life,
used only
and
for
it
its
was not
primary
justified,
purpose
then
of
it's murder.
preventing the pregnancy in the first place.
Okay, so I just want to clarify. You don't think in all scenarios when an individual terminates a valuable life unjustifiably so, and they are culpable for said termination, that they're a murderer? Well, then you're just completely
And she never said that. She never said that because she believes that they wouldn't be culpable, and that she didn't use it for the reason for the reason to murder, right? So that's not what she said at all.
defining what murder even is by introducing the abstract nuance of this quote-unquote primary or secondary purpose
You were the
argument.
one who brought it up
At
in
the end
the
of the
first
day,
place.
the fact of the matter is, in many scenarios, women will get an IUD knowing that in many cases, the IUD will lead to the death of a conceived zygote.
Yes, but there's no proof that there was a zygote that was conceived. That's what I'm talking about. I've said this before, and a certain blue furry creature named Stitch disagreed with me. There would be no proof of this ever occurring. So I don't think it should be a charge. I still think it should be illegal to buy it from the market. And I think if you buy it from the market, it's like heroin, right? I'm not even sure you can say that. My life's already restricted anyways, but if you buy an illegal drug like heroin, you should go to jail for buying an illegal drug. So in the same case, if you buy an IUD when it's illegal, you should go to jail for that.
And they will know it will lead to that in many scenarios, then they will still choose to be sexually active, and then the IUD will kill. Under your view, that would mean that that woman is culpable for murder, therefore under your view, that woman should be executed.
You kind of said a
We
lot
have to
there.
pause there. You've been voted out.
Okay.
If
I
you would
think
like
this is the last section.
to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
Or not.
Howdy.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi. Shannon, Dean, pleasure to meet you.
So I want to know why you think that.
It's a reaction to the Jubilee debates. I said I was gonna do this for like last week, but because I've been working and so busy, I didn't have the time to do it. But now I do. So yeah.
Killing babies should be legal.
Of course, because I'm a brutalistic Satanist, and I love the DNC, and I'm the leader of Antifa. Listen, the reason why I think abortion should be legal is because I don't think that abortion is morally wrong. I think it's a permissible action. And because I think it's a permissible action, I therefore don't see any good reason to infringe on a woman's bodily autonomy in the legal prevention of her access to abortion
Okay, but what would make it a morally good action?
for its human rights violation.
So you don't understand it. It's like killing. You don't think it's killing a human being.
No, I do.
And you're okay with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I don't
You
see
don't
anything
think that
morally
we
wrong
should
with it.
focus more on preventable measures because you don't have to have an abortion.
Oh, well, I also do.
As Duncan said, you could give him all the birth control you want. You could give free healthcare, free daycare, free birth control. They would still support abortion. This is a distraction from the conversation. Because even if they did have this, they would still want abortions. It's literally a distraction. So don't entertain this.
disagree there. I do think that we should focus on preventable measures. In my optimal society, there's 0 abortions, okay? Not because we're forcing women to not get them, but rather because the conditions in which lead women to get them don't exist, such as poverty, financial instability, a lack of sexual education, the failure of contraceptives.
That's all BS. Number one, as I stated, that in some public schools, they literally hand out free free condoms. Some places they're in vending machines, right? I don't know, he probably does, he just hasn't stated it. We have all these social safety nets, we have all these private organizations, we also have adoption, and abortion is still incredibly common. This is clearly just a distraction. Even what she should ask him is, if these things were met, would it still be justified to have an abortion? He would probably say no.
In my ideal society, those things wouldn't exist.
Do you know that if a woman gets pregnant,
he would probably say yes, it is still justified.
Financially able to keep the baby and she doesn't want the baby, she could at least take Plan B.
Yeah, and I think that would be a good fact of sexual education to share with the world.
It's like
that
$20.
Plan B exists. Actually, Plan B is $55. There's off-brand versions that are $20, and I think that is a good piece of...
Wait a minute. $50, $20. You mean to tell me you can't spend $50, but you can spend $100 for abortion, a procedure? And late-term abortions are more expensive, obviously. Like, I know in certain states, right? I know in certain states, they are paid through taxes. Like, I think Minnesota. Well, Jubilee doesn't exactly have the best representatives of any side.
Recommendation. But ultimately, if they don't take a Plan B, or whatever happens after the pregnancy, they should be able to access abortion. Hey, I want to ask you this question. Do you think that victims should be able to access abortion?
No, because they could also take a morning after pill I would go take a morning after pill the very next day.
Wow. So you think that a victim would have an obligation to maintain a pregnancy? Is that because that if they were to cessate or stop the pregnancy, the fetus would die? Okay, of course it is. So I want to ask you a question. Do you know who Max Irby is?
No.
So Max Irby is a 14-year-old guy, and he's in dire need of a stem cell transplant. And this is a true story.
He's gonna use the organ donation thing.
And his stem cell type is so incredible.
Which it wouldn't follow, again, not giving him not doing it, right? It wouldn't follow that abortion is justified, by the way.
Rare that his father set up a quote-unquote fundraiser for his son, taking random DNA samples in from people across the globe. So far, they've collected 40 million samples, and there hasn't been one match. What this means is that there's probably only one match alive on the face of planet Earth that could provide stem cells to Max Irby to save his life. So let's hypothetically assume that you are the one and only match for Max Irby's stem cell type, and the government finds this out. Then the government forces you to provide your stem cells to Max Irby without your consent for 9 months, introducing many physical and mental complications. Do you think that'd be just?
No.
No, because they shouldn't be able to force you to provide your bodily resources to another life, even if not providing your bodily resources would mean that other life dies. That's my position on victims of... They shouldn't be forced to provide domicile in their uterus.
Wait a minute. I don't think he says it, but I believe it's cut off his consciousness. So, even after rape, right? I don't even care at this point because my live is already restricted and nobody joins anyways, but even after, once a child is consciousness, he would still believe in that anyway. So, once they reach consciousness, regardless of rape, they shouldn't get the abortion anyways. I know his position. He just hasn't stated in the specific video.
Access to their bodily resources to the fetus, even if stopping the sustenance of those bodily resources to the fetus means the fetus dies. No difference than Max Irby.
This is a tough one for me because I have mixed feelings about it, obviously, because that's a horrible situation to be in. But I do, like I said earlier, morning after pill.
Well, could you respond to the argument again?
We have to pause there. You've been voted out.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you for the respectful dialogue.
By the way, I want to tell you I respect you a lot.
Well,
I saw
thank
when you cried for Charlie Kirk. You actually have a soul.
Have a good one.
If you want to be the next debater, please get to the chair in 3, 2, 1.
I heard that crying for Charlie Kirk was crocodile tears, but it's a story for another day.
Hello, I'm Georgia.
Georgia, pleasure to meet you. You
Nice
said
to
that
meet
you
you,
work
Dean.
for a pro-life org?
Yes, I do.
I think this is the last conversation of this
Wait, let's
claim.
talk about it.
Do you guys
So-
focus on like preventative means from pregnancy in the first place? Like, do you guys have like policy initiatives to like reduce financial instability or poverty in young
So
women?
what abortion does is it incentivizes people to live in a promiscuous way that further increases the rates of pregnancies that are not in a stable situation like
Well, I agree.
marriage. And so I'm actually against contraception.
Being pro-contraceptive would save the lives of more innocent babies under your review because then
So
Okay. I'm not going to make the claim now because I don't have the empirical data right now. But if anybody wants, I don't have it right now. But we have had more contraceptive access than any other point in American history. And has the abortion rates gone down? Well, I'll let you answer that question.
less
killing an
unwanted
innocent human
pregnancies.
being is always wrong. Abortion kills an innocent human being. Therefore, abortion is always wrong.
Yeah, I reject these
And
lines.
allowing abortion just reflects our overall decay as a society.
All right, what's your contention of premise one then?
When it comes to the way we view sexuality, marriage, and it just leads to a culture of death. When you have abortion, it leads.
I do agree, obviously, what she's saying, but you wanna try to address the point he's making, or whatever point he's making. I, of course, do agree with what she's saying.
Leads to things like MAID in Canada. What abortion is we're allowing.
Again, I do agree, but you kind of want to stay away from that. I don't look. I'm not saying what she's saying is wrong. I do agree, but you kind of want to stay away from the maid conversation. Even though that could be a point that's worthy of consideration. You kind of want to stay away from that, at least for this conversation.
Government to have the authority to define when personhood begins, because we're separating it from the moment of conception. And if it's not at the moment of conception, then the most powerful person gets to decide when it begins. And that's always subjective. And when more powerful people have that authority or allow them.
I think she's clearly the best representative that they brought on this claim.
Themselves have that authority to define when personhood begins.
Albeit that's not really saying much.
You have grave travesties like slavery. If it's a subjective line, then when does that begin? When does personhood begin?
It's a reaction. I gotta react to what she's saying.
And when you say it doesn't begin at conception, it's actually what you're arguing is a very suspicious, mystical idea of when it does. And that sounds more superstitious than Christianity.
Well, thank you for your comments. About your syllogism, I'd reject P1. Don't think it's always wrong to kill an innocent human being.
To intentionally kill an innocent human being, you don't think it's always wrong to intentionally kill an innocent human being.
Like I've said
Why?
to the last 5 guests, I mean, we do that to brain dead patients all the time.
Okay.
For the 18,000th time, brain death, they're dead.
So that's to
And I would
withhold
like-
care from them
I would
that
like-
sustains their life.
Okay.
That's different than intentionally going there
Yeah.
and killing them.
Okay, so then you're on board with the abortion pill, withholding the progesterone supplied through the umbilical cord that would sustain the life of the fetus.
I'm completely against the abortion pill.
But it's just withholding care that
Wait,
would
that would be a direct action, because that is a direct action with the abortion pill.
sustain the fetus's life.
It's different though in nature, because
the
what we're
difference?
doing is what occurs in the uterus is solely for the service of the fetus. The uterus does not exist to serve the woman; they exist to serve the child. What abortion is it's just the actual destruction of that child.
I wanna ask
It
you a
reflects
question.
the destruction of our idea of parental duty.
I wanna ask you a
Parents
question.
have a duty to care for their children. What's
Yeah.
your question?
My question is, let's just like envision a hypothetical of like a 9-year-old girl getting impregnated, and we know that pregnancy is not going to kill her. Per your syllogism that you gave earlier, it seems to be the case that you'd argue it would be wrong for her to get an abortion. Is this true?
Abortion only continues to perpetuate violence, the cycle of violence. It only
Yeah, you could argue that, but you want to make sure this is a yes or no question. I'm not saying what she's saying is wrong, but you want to make it a yes or no.
increases the trauma to that child, and what we would do, we would still try to minimize the trauma of pregnancy
But
for that
ultimately, no
9-year-old.
abortion.
I am completely against abortion in all cases, period. And that's the consistent pro-life stance.
Wow.
I
What about when it's like the life of the mother on the line?
Okay, so that's nonsense. What we have is exactly, we have C-section. And so
I guess you could. I guess it depends on her definition of abortion. That's actually a question I think that was never addressed. How do they define abortion?
Before
the life
viability.
of the, that simply does not happen. That simply
What if
is
it
a
did?
lie.
Would you be okay with?
Say that abortion is never medically necessary before fetal viability is false. Serious or life-threatening pregnancy complications can occur before fetal viability. In some cases, doctors may determine that ending the pregnancy is necessary to save the pregnant patient's life or prevent severe harm. These cases are uncommon but do happen. You see, this is how do they define abortion? When she means abortion, she probably means the intentional and lethal termination of the child in utero. She does not mean early induction or a C-section, because you can have a C-section and an early induction before viability. Let's say that viability is at 24 weeks. Even though it's not, it's actually earlier, but let's just say it is, right? You can have a C-section at 23 weeks, and they die shortly after, and under her view, that's not an abortion, and that would be justified. Because she said it is wrong to intentionally kill human beings. That you would not be intentionally killing them. They would die as a result of that pregnancy of being ended.
There's no what ifs. Listen,
It's a good question.
It simply does not
by the
happen.
way,
Okay, this is bad. Don't say no what ifs. This is a debate in theory. You have to entertain hypotheticals.
Absolutely happen.
Okay, our medical technology is so sophisticated today.
Can you just answer the question? Like, would you be okay with it?
The idea that there is a black and white, the life of the mother. The technology we have today is where we can operate on fetuses, and the child can continue.
If a medical health professional determines that a pregnant woman will die if she doesn't get an emergency C-section or abortion,
then do the emergency C-section, Dean. You just proved my point.
No, I didn't.
Yes, I did.
Because it's before viability.
Okay, when's viability? Viability is based on technology.
Wait, hold on. As I said, viability. If before viability, by the way, it would still technically be a live birth because they would be born alive. They just would die shortly after. So it would still technically be a live birth. So yeah.
I'm going to go ahead.
Changes.
It is.
Viability
I
is
just want to ask
20.
my question.
One day viability might
So
be
the question
at
that
the
I'd
first
like
trimester.
the question that I'd like to ask you is, let's assume a woman is pregnant. It's before viability, per the technological innovations and standards in America, because that's where we live.
When does personhood begin, Dean?
I'll happily
when does
answer
it begin?
your question. Of
When
what I
should
think
abortion be
personhood-
legal?
So I think that personhood begins around 20 through 24 weeks with a thymocortical
That's when
connection.
That's consciousness. Now, again, she's trying to gish gallop, to be fair. Like, one at a time, they're trying to go to different places. But now he gives his argument for why abortion is justified.
But my question is, if there's a woman that's pregnant, it's before viability, per like the technological innovation in America, and a doctor tells her that she needs to get an emergency C-section or abortion. It doesn't matter because either way it's going to kill the fetus. And the doctor says if she doesn't get this emergency C-section or abortion, then she's going to die. Would you be okay with her getting one? Interested. It's I want to see where your ideological underpinnings fall.
So I noticed how that's one of your debate strategies. You corner.
To answer your question, can she get the C-section before viability in a life or death situation? The answer is yes, because I don't consider that an abortion. There you go.
Us into these questions. I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
So what doctors do is they take an oath that says do no harm. Doing an abortion not only does obvious harm to the child by killing the child, but it actually does a lot of physical trauma to the mother.
Yeah, less trauma
It does a
than
lot of
childbirth.
trauma to the uterus. And not only that, but many women end up being suicidal after abortion.
Yeah.
But regardless of that...
Okay, these are points that you can make, but you want to answer his question.
Can you answer the question,
We have
though?
this very backwards view of the technology that we have now. There simply are not cases where women need to get abortions in
Notice
order
how
to
she's
save
not
their
answering
life.
the question.
Because it's not a scenario that actually exists. A lot of these
then
doctors
I'd
are
highly
committing
implore you
medical
to do your
malpractice,
research.
and they're actually lying because
So,
they have an agenda.
If it were to happen, would you be okay with that woman getting an abortion?
Absolutely not, because that doesn't happen.
So if it did, you wouldn't be okay with her getting an abortion? That's insane.
It does, see, we're talking
Okay, we gotta
about...
pause there. We gotta pause there. We're kind of at an impasse. We've also run out of time.
I think you said the F word. I wasn't paying attention.
So we're gonna move on.
My next surrounded claim is Donald Trump is a terrible president.
All right, guys, that was the end. That was the section. I believe it was like 20 minutes. I'm not gonna watch the rest of it. I was only interested in that claim. When I was first watching this, I was questioning if that was ever going to be in this video, abortion. But we saw it. I think not the best representatives. I think the last woman was the best representative, but I think she could have done a better job. But that was that video. I might do another TikTok live tonight and watch Trent Horn's reaction to it, right? Because I know Trent Horn made a reaction video to this. So I might do that, but I'll let you know. My lives from now on, I said in my previous videos, what I'm going to do, this setup is going to be like this from now on, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the abortion laws in every single state, right? Because I'm very irritated about some misinformation, and I also want to gain knowledge myself because I don't know the ins and outs of every single state's abortion laws, right? Some states are clearly more obvious than others. I know what Colorado's abortion law is going to be like, right? It's legal through all 9 months of pregnancy. But states like Texas and other states like that, right? I think it's important to delve deep into this, right? Because a lot of people, pro-choicers, a lot of people make these claims, oh, well, if the law said this, most of them haven't read the law, so they can't make this claim. So the point of this is to educate people, right? You see the law, I'm reading the entire thing on the states, and I'm going to post them on YouTube so you can rewatch them as many times as you want and learn something. So that's what I'm going to be doing from now on, all 50 states. And then for another set of videos, I'm also going to read the maternal mortality rates for each state. I explained this in the video already that I posted. But so I think, being educated and knowing this stuff is kind of important. Even though no panels, at least until now. I mean, it's not that I'm not going to have panels. It's just, for now, I want to do these types of format, these types of videos. So I'm definitely going to have panels again. But now I'm not really going to have people up on panel. As you can see, this was a reaction live. No one was going to join the panel. It's a reaction live. So I'm going to do more of those. And so that was this video. So I might be back later tonight to make that Trent Horn reaction. I was going to do each state in alphabetical order, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think doing the states with the most restrictions would probably be better first, because there's much more to talk about, right? Like Texas. What does the Texas abortion law actually say, right? So we're going to read all of it. It's going to be a long live. So stay tuned for that. I don't know when I'm going to do that, but stay tuned for that. So yeah, if any comments or questions, let me know. I'm going to try to post this video on YouTube, and hopefully my phone has storage. So everybody have a good day, and until next time, thanks for joining, and thanks for your insight in the comments. Get a tripod. I actually do have a tripod. I just don't know how to use it. But yeah, thanks for joining. I don't think I'll be needing any more prompts chicken, so yeah. I don't know how to use it. I bought it, but I don't know how to use it, so yeah. So thanks everybody for joining. I mean, another option I could do is I could just, I was going to use my smart TV and post it that way. But I don't know, but until next time, so thanks everybody for joining. So yeah.